we can be able to reach out to more people and make more impact the way we want to make it. All right, for those who don't know me, for those who are seeing me for the very first time, my name is Zion Inaugury, a Mr. Positive Energy, a positivity coach and mentor, a man who is on a mission to spread positivity to every corners of the earth, one person at a time. For me, I help business owners, entrepreneurs to embrace the power of positivity for success. One thing I believe it's in positivity, there are possibilities. When you intentionally embrace the power of positivity, you can be able to achieve anything that you want to achieve. So feel free to reach out. You are finding it difficult to stay positive. Life is challenging or overwhelming. You need somebody to infuse in you that power of positivity. Do it to reach out. And I believe that together we can really, really do so much more to make that impact on a global scale, 1% at a time. You know how we do it. I'm not the only person here. I have my co-host with me already on stage, and we have our guest with us too. And Coach David is our guest. And my co-host is Mr. Eni Oson. Mr. Eni is somebody that you need to know. He's somebody who's doing an amazing work. He's making an impact. He's somebody, we call him the Godfather because truly he's the Godfather of events, and he does so much amazing things. I'm not going to steal the show from him. I'm going to allow him to introduce himself so that he can tell us what he does. Mr. Eni, thank you so much for being with us. How are you, sir?
Always a joy, my friend. Always a joy. So welcome, Coach. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're here. Of course, Mrs. Z as well. Welcome, everyone. So do drop us a comment. Tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us how your day's been. Tell us whatever you want to tell us, right? If you got any comments about our topic, mentorship, then please do share. So as Mrs. Z says, the link to join us is on the events page. It is in the comment section. So don't be shy. So we'd love to hear from you either way, either you joining us or you sharing in the comments. Just don't keep your thoughts to yourself. Look, for those who know me, those who don't know me, so I'm that happy person who lives the great life, and it's partly because of our topic today, right? So I spend my days helping people, working with people to, I guess, I could start with the book thing, but I think see, my real passion in life is helping people to achieve their potential. So business growth is what I talk about half the time, but it is aimed at helping us realize that we have a unique gift. We all do. As Mr. C says, all of us have a gift, right? The choice we have to make in life is whether we're going to live that gift or just look at it and let it sort of die away with us and never help anyone. I think when we choose to live our gift, I think we are wealthy, we're successful, we're happier. That's why I talk business growth at best of times. So when I'm not talking business growth, then I am usually found somewhere working on someone's book, one of my friends' books or my clients' books. So that's sometimes helping to write the book, which we do for more and more people these days. So those who've written a book already, we work with people to publish a book on the bookstores, whether it's Amazon and that's the ebook, print book, or whether it's the other bookstores by publishing through other platforms. So for those who publish their book, then you might find me working with them to become international bestsellers on Amazon. So I do offer a guaranteed number one on Amazon bestseller service, and it's a joy. But it's a testament to the process we have and to the people I get to work with. Where 100% of the people we worked with on bestsellers achieve number one international bestseller. So, especially Coach David, for example, he's got 14 categories out of his book on prophetic ecosystems, and dynamics, dynamics and ecosystems. It's not say it's for 14-time number one bestseller in 4 countries. So that's what we do for a living, Mr. Z. We've got more big plans coming in for 2026. I'll save those for now. Yeah. I thank you for the chance to always speak at your events, my friend.
All right,
So
thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Eni. It's always a privilege to have you and to get to know you more and more, and just to hear you talk about the how you help people and also businesses. It's just so remarkable. For me, that's how we make true impact. As much as we are all goal driven, passion driven. We are all self greatness, self success driven. The ability for us to use what we know, our skills, our expertise, our knowledge, to be able to help others to achieve success and greatness. It's very, very important, especially in this time and season. And that's why today we are talking about the power of mentorship, having people, in our lives who can be able to teach us, to groom us, to nurture us, to support us, to help us become a better person. It's very, very important. You know, we live in a time and season where a lot of people can be so confused about life. A lot of people do not know what to do, how to do it, where to go to do it. They do not have access to resources. They do not. There's a lot of things they do not have. Why? Because they do not have mentors. So the reason why we are bringing this topic today is just to bring an awareness. But for anyone who is a leader or who wants to become a leader, we are all leaders. We are all born leaders. But then stepping into the role is a whole different ball game. Just to remind us and let us know how important it is to have mentors in our life. For me, I remember, a few years ago, I was trying something like all by myself, doing things all by myself, making plans all by myself, setting goals all by myself. Well, it though it was moving, but not at the pace I wanted it to go. It wasn't effective as I wanted it to be. It wasn't efficient as I wanted it to be. And then I had to embrace the power of mentorship. And this happened by, somebody asked me a question, do you have a mentor? I would like to know. He said, okay, I think you need to get a mentor. And from that moment onward, my life changed and it became more better. And for me, having been able to experience that, and I think it's something that a lot of people should be able to experience too, having the mentorship in their life. Because mentorship encapsulates so much, a whole lot that we all need to learn. And bringing awareness like this can allow us to be able to get there. If there's one thing that one of my mentor told me, he said there is never an age limit to mentorship. No matter how old you are, somebody can be your mentor. So it's not a matter of, I'm older or I'm younger. Because age differences can be tricky to some person, like, I'm old, you cannot be my mentor because I'm older or because I'm younger. But that we're going to be clarifying all these things today, and I believe it's going to be a powerful conversation. Yes, welcome everybody. We have Coach David already with us on stage, dropping hello or Azion and Mr. Eni. Thank you so much, Coach David. We appreciate you. We have Robert Morgan joining us. Robert Morgan, yes, we can see you. You are here. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. So good to see you. If you are joining us live, please drop a comment. Let us know you're here. We want to shout you out. We want to celebrate you. We want the world to know that you are here with us. Yes, we also have Daniel today. Say hi everyone. I'm Daniel from Nigeria, and I look forward to another session of knowledge sharing today. Indeed, Daniel, we look forward to having you join us and especially asking questions and participating in the conversation today. If you know of somebody that needs to hear about mentorship, please invite them. Send them the link, tag them on the comment section, or if you're on LinkedIn, just tag them to invite them to be part of the conversation to them. Let's just pass the mic to Coach James so that he can introduce himself even before we go into the conversation proper. So, Mr. David, are you ready?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes, you can just introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, then we can go into the conversation later.
All right. My name is David Adeoye Abodrin. My friends call me Coach David, and I'm excited to be here. I am an enterprise agile coach, and that includes a whole spectrum of things, including my work in hybrid project and program management. I also work in cybersecurity and AI to help business and organizations be more profitable and also for individuals. I also have a life design coaching practice where I help you to bring out the best of yourself. Is there a habit stopping you? What is really stopping you? What is the number one thing you need? What is the tiny little adjustment that can give you the breakthrough? What is the mental map you need to break? I can easily tell you by just hearing your voice or profiling you in a 60 seconds phone call or also talking now, or picture, whatever. I've done that for almost 30 years. I also do not for profit work in church to help people grow in the ability to hear God and live better lives for themselves. I'm totally excited to be here. Interesting topic we have today. And thank you, Zion, for always inspiring us. And by the way, my personal link is in the chat. If you want to just check much more details about me, I also post my LinkedIn profile. Then, we are going to have a lot of good discussion today. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Coach David, even as you put your link in the comment section. Yes, connect. One thing we do is we connect people. We connect amazing people. We connect positive people together because it's all about connecting. It's all about the impact and making a difference. Yes, Sharon, I love that. You already dropped a comment. It said, Sharon says, mentors offers accountability and expertise. That's very profound. And I think we're going to dive in deeper in that conversation today because mentorship, the power that it brings, the transformative power it brings, can never be overemphasized when we talk about mentorship. And a lot of people need mentors in their life. A lot of people need that accountability, like Sharon said. A lot of people out there, you need that person in your life who can nurture, who can teach, who can direct you, in doing what you do. Sometimes people don't even know how to start. They don't even know what to do. Okay, they're talking about mentors. How do I get a mentor? Who do I look at for as a mentor? A lot of all these things happen that we will be talking about today. I believe and I know this conversation is change your perspective. It's going to change the way you see things, and it's also going to impact you in ways that you've never seen before. So I'm just going to share a little bit when it comes to mentorship, and I already shared my story earlier of how I was actually doing things all by myself without having a mentor. It was very strenuous. It was very tiring. Sometimes it can be very, very frustrating because I was trying to crack the nut all by myself. Forgetting, not knowing that wow, somebody has cracked the nut already. They know how to crack it again and again and again, and just be able to learn under the umbrella, under the tutorship of such people, can make cracking the nut much more easier. No matter what it is, no matter how difficult life might be, somebody has found the key to doing things. Somebody has found the key to certain things that might look difficult for other person. The ability for us to stay under the teaching of these people, to stay under their tutorship, goes a long way to make our journey much more easier. Mentorship, especially for the younger generation or younger folks who are just trying to go into their professional career or trying to go into their professional journey, a whole lot of people are confused. By God's grace, I tend to have conversations with young persons, especially those in the tertiary university, a whole lot recently. And when you tend to have conversations with them, you begin to see that, wow, a lot of people, they don't even have necessarily have a plan. All they have is, oh, I want to be like this, but do not have a structure plan, do not have a vision, but do not have all these things that they need that can make them success. Now, beyond the younger folks, we also have people, who are of age, and because of the challenges of life and the vicissitudes that life throws at them, we get confused at times. We get confused. Sometimes we don't even know what to do. But then just having the mentor, having that person in your life who is always there to listen, who is always there to pay attention, who is always there to give you their suggestion, it's priceless, and it's something that can impact our life. For me, having a mentor changed a whole lot in my life, I must tell you. And it really helped me to see life in a whole different perspective. One of the benefits I've gained, and I'm gaining continually when it comes to having a mentor, is just having that guidance and support. having that guidance and support of somebody to tell what you are doing right now. I've gone through it before. The ability for them to share their experiences with you. The one thing I love about mentorship when it comes to guidance and support, you don't have to go through the the difficulty, the challenges that they went through, but yet you can learn from their lessons because they simplify it and they make it much more easier. Somebody who has gone through the road before knows how to navigate the road. Somebody who has been on the journey before knows what to do, what not to do, and how to navigate the journey. So the ability for us to learn from somebody who is already on the journey that we want to go, it's very, very important. And one thing that mentorship does, it provides support and guidance. Sometimes in our businesses, in our life, we want to make decisions. We are uncertain. We don't know which to choose because we might have options that all the options can look favorable, can look okay. But having a mentor to let you know, okay, since you have all this option, let's do this. Is the reason why I'm telling you to do this. Step by step guidance, step by step, provision of value, step by step insight and advice. It's one thing that having mentors in my life has really, really helped me to do. What used to bother me for months, what used to bother me for weeks, what used to disturb me I used to have sleepless nights or for just by having a mentor, I don't need to have sleepless nights anymore. I don't have to think about it again and again for weeks or for months. You just to have a discussion, and boom, what I thought looks like a mountain becomes like a plain ground. Or because I have somebody who I can always talk to, who I can always reach out to, who is always ready to put me through and say, you know what, do this, do it this way, do it this way. And with that, it just help make my journey more effective, more efficient, and more productive. Secondly, one of the benefits I really enjoy in having a mentor, is the ability to have access. Yes, access. Mentorship give access because why? Your mentor tend to knows a lot of people that you don't know. They have access to resources. They have access to people. They have access to things that will be so impactful in your life. And what do they do? No, sometimes because you might not know what is good for you. You might not really know, okay, if this resources or if this person is a good fit for me. But a mentor can always recommend and say, you know what, I want you to meet this person. I want you to go here. I have this. You can have access to it. So having mentors are very, very important. They give you access to things you never thought you could have. They give you access to people you never thought you could meet. They put you in rooms you never thought you can be. And one of my mentors will always say, fly on the wings of those who are already flying. From the first time I heard it, I was like, it was very profound. But I had to understand it as I move on in life. To fly on the wings of those who are already flying. Whatever it is you want to do, somebody has already been doing it. Maybe you're into business, you are into anything, you want to achieve XYZ goal. Somebody else has already achieved it. People have already, there's nothing new, even the Bible said it, there's nothing new under the sun. So, and the ability for you to learn from the expertise of those who have gone ahead, it's key and it's very, very important. And it can give you access. Like I said, access to people, access to resources, access to insight, access to deep knowledge that can never be found elsewhere. And when I talk about access, people can have access, but then they tend to pay for it. One thing that mentorship will do for you, that you can have access, free of charge, without having to spend the millions that other persons are spending on it, without having to spend the thousands that other people are spending on it. But because you have a mentor who have access to resources, you can be able to benefit, and it can help you to become a better person. And when we talk about mentorship, is a two-way thing. As much as we are looking for mentor, it's also good for us to be mentors to people. One thing I've learned along on my journey is that the apex of leadership is the ability for you to raise other leaders. So it's good as much as, we want to have mentors, we want to have mentors, we want to have mentors. Also position yourself to also be a mentor to people. Because if you are a bucket that keep taking in, taking in, taking in, taking in, taking in, without also giving out, you become a pile, a hill of knowledge, a hill of wisdom, without being able to dispense it to other people. For me, as I grew up on my professional journey, I understood the fact that yes, as much as I'm looking for mentors, it is also good and it's also important for me to position myself as mentors to people. Because all the knowledge I'm gathering, all the knowledge I'm getting, there is need for people to also have access to this too. Yes. So it's key. I just wanted to show that in that, for most people, you want to be mentors, we want to have mentors, but then just few people are thinking about, oh, let me also be mentors to people. There are many people out there in the world who needs you, who needs your value, who needs what you can share, who needs what you know. And you positioning yourself to be able to train these people, to teach them, to nurture them from the vast knowledge that you have acquired over a period of time can go a long way to help raise the next generations of leader. It goes a long way to help people develop themselves and become a better person for themselves. The mentorship at this time, it's not negotiable. It's not something we have to say, oh, I don't think I need a mentor. We all need mentors. Like Sharon mentioned earlier, mentors can hold you accountable to your actions, accountable to your word, accountable to your goals, accountable to your dreams and aspirations. So mentorship and the role they play in our life can never be overestimated. They plays a huge role both in our professional and our personal life to help us become a better person. So I encourage anyone out there, you don't have a mentor and you're still thinking about it, I encourage you to get one. And not just to get one, also be that person who will say, I'm also going to be a mentor to people. A lot of people need mentors right now in their life. They need mentors. They need people to coach them, to teach them, to groom them, to help them. And the ability for us to be the middleman as you receive, you're also giving that. That's how we make a real impact and just, create that environment where everyone is learning, everyone is getting better, everyone is active, everyone is growing and becoming a better version of themselves. There's so much to share on this topic, and we have a lot of MVPs, amazing people, our friends who are already with us, on stage and in the background. We want to say big welcome. We appreciate you so much. But before we go into our special guests, our amazing people, I'm just going to pass the mic to Mr. Any, if as he shares with us, you know, the power of mentorship and how it has impacted his life and how it can also impact other people's life as well. So, Mr. Any, I'll pass the mic to you.
Thank you so much. You shared amazing things about mentorship. I can't see Lisa. What Coach David said, Lisa is here. So that menopause genius. I'm glad you're here, Lisa. So who else is here, my friend? Drop us a comment. Look, I could talk about mentorship all day. So one of it's a weird thing in his life, right? I'm a geek. That's what it boils down to. So I remember, one of my first big jobs after leaving uni was to write a mentorship program. So mentorship can be formal or informal, and I got to write a formal mentorship program for businesses to have leaders become mentors to students and to other employees. So I have a lot to say, but I'm always keen to learn from our friends who are on stage. So let's do that first, Mr. Z. Let's hear from our friends on stage, and then I should share my thoughts long before we go. Right. So
All right, sounds good.
go on to. I think Coach David was the first one on stage,
Yes,
right? Coach
yes,
David,
yes, Coach David.
then
Yes, Coach David.
Calm, and then Dr. Thomas.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you for doing this. I'm going to be putting some of my thoughts in the chat because I can't see everything, and Annie is mentoring me in how to speak, short and quick and sharp, so that I don't go on and on. Um, um, Many people use some words interchangeably: teacher, mentor, guide, facilitator, coach. They are all very different. The origin of the word mentor I put in the chat was the man Odysseus was the king of Ithaca, was going for war, and that time they used to go for long time. This was around 8th century before Christ. King Odysseus was afraid that his son, um, Telemachus, whichever. Sorry, I'm not Greek, so I don't know the. Forgive my African pronunciation. Um, was dull or needed grooming. Was too young, and if he dies in war or doesn't come back because it's a is both God and man according to mythology. Maybe uh, he'll be trained, and he handed him over to uh, his friend called Mentor. That was the name of the person, Mentor. The Mentor was also a mythical entity in quote, because Athena, who was the goddess of wisdom, will generally disguise herself as Mentor. So Mentor, Athena took the form of Mentor and began to guide and advise Telemachus, offering him wisdom, encouragement, and direction. Telemachus grew to be very, very powerful. I think by the time the king came back, he was totally surprised at what, by the time Odysseus came back, because Odysseus now entered some long journey and he made some mistakes. And then because the gods wanted to teach him, he didn't come back on time. But Telemachus was fine. Uh, a mentor is someone that gives identity, they impart identity. A teacher gives information, a coach drives improvement or activates, but a mentor helps you with identity. They don't just show you what to do, they are waking who you are. Um, a mentor is comfortable for you to be greater than them. And by the way, there's a whole new concept nowadays. You can't be a mentor both ways. You can't be tall and be short simultaneously. You can't be happy and be sad simultaneously. The happy person needs a sad mentor. Or let me put it this way, there's a day that no matter how happy you are, you would encounter some sadness. You need to go to someone who's been through sadness because all your life you have been happy. So there's reverse mentoring, which is no matter how old you become, you probably need a Gen Z. If you're writing a book, for example, any, you need a Gen Z or Gen Alpha to tell you what the new how they are reading now. For example, I find it difficult, the attention span has changed. But a few Gen Zs saw some of my books and they sent me a message in Africa. I was a bros, which means elder brother or big uncle. This your book is too thick. Say we read things very short now. In fact, your sentences are too serious. You're an engineer by training. We empathize with you. But if you want to reach us, you got to bring these things to smaller concepts. Now, a lot of arrogance for me to think, well, they don't know what they're talking about. They are younger than me and all the like. I had to listen to them. And not too long, I encountered Annie, a great mentor, by the way, who is a famed mentor, who said to me, Coach David, what did you write 400 and something pages? And that's the abridged version. The original version is about 1,000 pages. Now, there are things I don't know. No matter how big, in fact, the bigger you become, the more the blind spots you have. I'll just make two more points. The more talented you are, the more your blind spots. The more strength you are, the more you're weaker on some spectrum. You need people who, the word tor, tor, Tor is what you use when you put something in the fridge and you bring it out of the fridge to defrost it. It cannot be okay. Thor is actually THAW. Thank you for that. Somebody's correcting me in the background. Say the word Thor is THAW. But my own meaning of Thor is that someone that helps you to walk in difficult terrain or other terrains you're not used to. Someone that softens you when you need to be softened. Someone that hardens you when you need to be hardened. Someone that helps you by working on your mentality. That's my own syntax of the word mentor. Mentor, someone that helps you to mend and bend and work in terrains that naturally you don't have the capacity by your own experience and lifestyle for. My last point is that mentorship is totally informal. Formal mentorships are difficult to, in my opinion, add a significant value. Informal mentorships, for example, I was talking to a gentleman who said he has lost the ability to panic in life. He has lost the ability to panic. I kept on asking myself, until I asked him, how does that work? How do you get to the point where your mind acquires the ability not to panic again? And it's almost like you've been stretched, something has broken, and you can't return back to a previous state. Now, I was interested in that and narrated the experience to me. He had been involved in an accident that affected his spinal cord, and he was on the bed for 6 months. So, real mentorship is not curriculum based because the examinations of life have no real timetable. The moments of greatness are caught, they are not taught. A mentor is someone who can engineer those moments into your soul, who can help you to see through the lenses and bypass all your own biases and all your lenses and bring you to the point of greatness and super excellence. That is my own 1 cent as I yield the mic before I hold everyone for the whole evening. Zion and Annie and everyone on the stage, well done. I'm totally excited. I'm putting my nuggets in the chat and some of my personal notes because I've studied mentorship for a while. Right, I yield the mic, sirs.
Thank you so much, Coach. Thank you so much. You share many great wisdoms there. Look, let me clarify one thing: in the informal versus formal mentoring. It's not versus. The two coexist, and I may agree with you. The reason we have formal mentoring programs simply because without a structure to the program, without a framework, what are we trying to achieve with this mentoring program? Why do we want A to connect with B as a mentor? And then, without some sort of objective for the company, we leave it open to go anywhere. It might go anywhere anyway. It might go nowhere or sideways anywhere, right? Ultimately, as companies, I guess we try to add some sort of structure, some sort of framework to guide the relationship as best we can. And also I said having a formal program coach means that we can tie the mentor and the mentee into the relationship. So we don't suddenly have the mentor saying, "Oh well, it's informal. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do."
No.
Good mentors won't do that. I agree, but so essentially, we want to give the mentor and the mentee an agreement that they will work together, say for 6 months, 12 months, and they will meet every 2 weeks, every week. Are you with me? So we just want to add a framework to that, and sometimes some formal mentoring programs, the mentor is recompensed, they're compensated for the expenses, right?
Yeah,
Where we're going to meet. Are we going to meet on the streets, a street corner every time? No, we might go and sit in. Might go and have a meal, so
yeah,
for a conversation.
yeah,
So that formal program does not necessarily curtail the relationship beyond what the mentee and the mentor want to do. It just adds framework. That's
yeah,
all it is.
yeah. I actually agree with you, Annie. I just mentioned that to say that um, there's the spirit of a thing, and
I agree.
there's a mind of a thing.
Yes, and I
In
totally agree.
between,
I agree. I agree.
you see, in between the mind and the spirit of a thing contains the hidden code that forms the body of it. Now, that may sound like boulder rush. Let me an
No,
example.
I get what you.
If you understand the thoughts, feelings, emotions, moods, and imaginations, and the mental perspectives that give somebody a result,
Mm,
you can mirror that, and your muscles will begin to act the same way.
mm, mm.
That is, in my own understanding, an informal transfer, is an impartation.
Yeah.
And although the schedule may be the schedule and if you should permit me, some will say schedule. There may be timetables, there may be financial commitment, there may be contract, but the formalities must not get in the way of the transference of the energies that are needed. The place where change is done in the human soul is the subconscious terrain. It
Yeah.
requires some proximity and informalness, and we agree on that. That's my point. And
We definitely do. We agree.
and so the last point is this: when I see I mentor executives, I have done this for some years now. Seldom do I see the spirit and the mind as part of the scope of works of the mentorship contract.
Mm, mm.
They go, we want this person to learn these behavioral patterns or learn this trait or become this person, but seldom do they have something called scope of spirit or scope of mindset, because both the mentor and mentee now go through the 6 months and the change doesn't happen. That's where we need to think about scope of value. Thanks for that.
No, look, I say again, I totally agree with you. It is about the what's in the mentor's heart and what's in the mentee's heart, right? If they're not committed, authentically, I think it's probably the easiest way I can describe it, Coach David. It's not going to work. No structure, no amount of structure is going to make it work, right? As mentors, we have to be truly willing to give. As mentees, we have to be truly willing to receive. Protege is another word for mentees, right? Without that, without the heart part of the contract, which is unwritten, Coach. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I agree with you, right? It's not going to work. But so thank you so much. We say when you dive into who mentors are and who the proteges are, who the mentees are, you realize this is a magic. This is one of the magic tricks, magic tools for the world, really. So, but by the time we leave, hopefully, we will be, we will commit to be that person for, be that mentor for others, whilst also being open to receive the benefits of being a learner from a mentor. Mrs. Z, so I'll give you the mic to introduce a couple of our speakers, if you don't mind. My cat's talking to me, telling me she wants to go outside. So I'm going to go and do my job as a glorified door opener.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Annie and Coach David. Spot on. And we can listen for you for days and will not get tired because you always come with so much nugget. And I love the fact that you also place them in the comment section so that more persons can be able to go in there, reach through even as they're listening to the podcast. So thank you so much, Coach David, for those deep insights. We really appreciate you. You took us through history lane. We had to study history a little bit to know the foundations and all that, and that was very profound. But then, yes, we were going to introduce our brother Cam. Thank you so much for joining us again. We appreciate you so much, sir. You can share with us, your take on the topic, the power of mentorship for leadership development.
Ah, hello, Zion. Hello, Coach David,
Yeah.
all the members who are on the floor right now and who are going to be able to speak after me. I do appreciate you joining in and having something positive to share in regards to mentorship. I must say, Zion, I cannot listen to David through and through. At some point, I have to sleep. And so much as he's got lots of
This is calm. This is just under 5 minutes. This is
well,
any telling me that I speak for too long, so I'm practicing 3 minutes.
oh, okay, okay,
Whoa!
okay,
So I'm
okay.
still I'm still boring. I apologize for that. Okay, we'll make it. We'll spice with humor.
No, no, you're not boring. You're very interesting. It's just the sleep factor is just overwhelming for me. When that kicks in, that's it. I'm gone. And then and I know you've got the energy to talk and talk, and I just want to listen to what you got to say. But damn, I just really don't think I have that capacity. I really don't. And I say that from experience, so to speak. There is a point where I just, nod off and then fall to the ground or fall off the what do you call it, the ledge. Then I'm gone. Yeah, even when I land, I don't even remember that I landed. I'm just gone into the sleep. When I wake up in the morning, then I'll get the effects of, hey, you landed hard after I sleep. That's my body. My body works that way. Anyway, I do concur. Uh, what I'm about to say regarding mentorship is primarily my opinion and my evaluation. And I'm not going to deviate from it because ultimately I believe it's part of my universe. It's part of the way I function. It's part of the way I enjoy living in the universe. It is my reason to live. And uh, mentorship, as far as I'm concerned, um, is a function of frequency. I need to have a person who I can resonate with. I can do the back and forth. I can do the learning. I can do the questioning. I can do the misunderstandings. They're going to travel. They may have traveled a path that I have not gone down, but that's where the questioning comes in. I ask them about your questions. I learn. I understand what they're telling me, but I'm not necessarily going to go down the same path. I know I'm not. It's going to be different. Why? It's because I'm different. But I do resonate with what they're saying. I do have they push me towards trying to understand them and trying to understand the journey that they took and try to envision in my imagination what that felt like, how it welled within their system so as to make them move in the directions that they went. Because there's a push and a pull in every activity that you're involved in. It pushes you forward or it pulls you back, or it makes you just fall down and wait, or it just probably does nothing, absolutely and utterly nothing for you. And a friend who is a mentor is a person I gravitate towards too, barring none, 100% of the time. Anything else, I cannot. I've come to understand myself that way because I regard friendships more important to me than anything else on this earth. And in those friendships, I understand that we will go on a journey together. You elevate me, I elevate you. We go up in altitude. You go up in altitude. I follow you. I try to reach you. I try to come to your altitude because I am interested in that. And I will not falter until I get there. My friend, I have a friend. He lives here in the United States. Ever since we were 7, we were separated. But I've never forgotten him. He was my best friend at the time. I have never, we went through, when we were small, since I was what, 3, 4, we went through a journey together, enjoyed times, took baths together. His eye fell out, and then I found out that he's got a false eye. I was freaked out. I was like, what is that? I didn't know what to do. That really concerned me. But somehow he made it all well and good. He picked it up, he brushed it off, then I went to wash it in his what do you call it, in his hotel room, because we were staying in a hotel room at the time. Then he came back and the eye was back there. It was a little bit squiff, a little bit odd here and there, but it was there. But all in all, he was my best friend, and I calmed down after he took all those actions. I was freaking out, but I was calm after it was all was in place. This is the way I feel about him when I connect with him on Instagram. He's all the way up in some Midwest place, some place in the Midwest of America. He lives with his wife, who's Caucasian, um, and they have kids. I had no idea. But every time I take a look at this guy, I smile from ear to ear, no matter what. He just has to do anything small, and it's got me banging and beaming from one end to the next end. I try to figure out what is this all about. He's there, I'm here, but we are connected. His antics are very similar to my antics. It's kind of like, you know, we've not been to each other with each other for so long, but we're still laughing at each other's jokes. We're still talking to each other like we're best buddies. We have not changed in terms of our relationship, our back and forth, our mentorship. I look up to the guy. All right. I don't know if he looks up to me, but I consider him a mentor. He's gone through his life crap and so on and so forth. I've still got to learn what he's gone through, but I can understand. I can see the tears from his actions, from his body, from his the way he's come out. I can see he's gone through stuff. Man, that's the kind of relationship that I'm looking for. That is my mentor. This back and forth with Annie, he's a mentor to me as a result. I don't know. But it's, we resonate. With Coach David, I resonate. With Zion, I resonate. We're working on the resonations as we continue with everybody else, as we get to know each other. But as we're resonating, we're learning from each other. It's like an automatic mentorship. Automatic. A person that I meet for the first time, they could say just a few things, or they could look in a particular way. And if I like it, if I think there's something to it, he passed on something from his world to me. Now I got to understand it and incorporate it in my world and figure it out for myself, because I have my own style. And if we jive, whatever style I come up with, he will understand and he will have no issues or problems with it. He'll try to emulate and come up with something better. That's how we live. That's how we move through life. That's how we propagate. That's how we elevate. That's how we jive. It's the music, the frequency. Big time. Anyway, that's it for me. That's how
Wow,
you know, that's how you know
okay,
who's a mentor, as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned.
yeah.
Anybody can do anything else. Go ahead, Zion. It's all yours. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, Cam. That was very, very powerful, very timely, very profound, and it got me really, really thinking. I love it when you said a mentor is somebody you should be able to resonate with. For me, that was a mic drop, and it's true. It's not just to have, for some persons, mentorship and it's just someone had up there and someone down here. No, I love a point you make it. Someone that is your friend, someone I can talk to, I can relate with, I can resonate with. The energy can attract each other. It's very powerful when it comes to mentorship. Not somebody you are with, you are not comfortable to even ask questions becomes difficult. But that person who can be your friend, who can be a brother, who can be a teacher, who can be somebody you can reach out to, and then you have this conversation. Somebody you are not trying to impress, someone who allows you to be the you want to be the best version of yourself. So that was very profound, Calm. because people need to understand this. One way you can truly enjoy a mentor mentee relationship is when you're friends, when you can actually talk to each other, without reservations or trying to, fake it or act it, but just being yourself. Just being yourself. By being friends goes a long way. And that's why when you see mentors and mentee who are friends, who have this close relationship, you can see the transfer. You can see the impact. It's so vivid. It's so vivid. So thank you so much, our brother Cam, for sharing with us. We appreciate you so, so much. Thank you, thank you,
Thanks.
thank you. That was very profound. Yeah.
Thanks for the succinct breakdown. That's exactly, you got it. You got it, Jai. That's exactly what I've been talking about. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can actually resonate with that because I love when you keep using the word resonate, resonate, resonate. I can resonate with that because having friends who you look up to learn from, who nurture you, who teaches you, who guides you, it's what makes mentorship beautiful. It's what makes it beautiful. So thank you so much. Yes, we have Lois in the building. Let's say I am Zion Any from the Netherlands. Join us from the Netherlands. We appreciate you. My friend from Kenya, Sherry. Sherry's hi. Happy Friday. So good to see you as well. We have Mr. Mike in the building. Yes. Come, Mr. Mike is shouting you out. He say, "Come, he's my brother from another mother. We should all be seeing each other as a valued mentors." Yes, indeed, indeed, we are all mentors to one another in one way or the other, and that's true. Seeing ourselves as valuable mentors, because we all have the uniqueness that we bring to the table, that we bring to the room. We all have that special quality in our life that we bring in, and the ability for us to see ourselves as that valued mentors to each other is very, very profound. So thank you so much, Mr. Mike, for adding that to the conversation. We appreciate you so, so much. It's so powerful. All right. And Dorothea, you drop off on stage. If you can come back, that would be great. We're looking forward to have you. And just to let you to be able to share, we appreciate you so, so much. And for anyone you want to join the conversation, you want to weigh in, you have something to share about mentorship or how it has been able to impact and transform your life as a person, or your business, you can do it. The link is in the comment section. If you don't see it, just reach out to myself or any, so we can send it to you via DMs. So you can be part of those who will share it with us. But with that being said, as we wait for more persons to join us, I'm going to pass the mic to our friend, our brother, one of our mentors on this space, Saras. Welcome. Good evening. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Zion.
Yes.
Thank you for calling me a mentor. I've been called worse, to be honest. I'm joking. Um, um, I'm just a guy who keeps learning and who loves learning. That's why my name is Cyrus, and I'm the proud creator of whisperboy.com, which is a platform for business development and personal development, really. Um, um, I'm not sure what happened to Calm, but is he still in the room? I think Calm disappeared. I remember um,
He's still here.
he's still here. Yeah, I remember on one of
He's
the
trying to hide away from
episodes.
you.
Yeah, on one of the episodes, uh, he on one of my episodes, he came to my show, and I was telling him the tale of Bonavinote for the first time, and I could see him like he was falling every line that I was reading. He was getting deeper and deeper into deep sleep, and I stopped reading, and I knew if I go one more paragraph, he's gonna fall off his chair or something.
Yeah,
So
I remember that.
you remember that, Colin, don't you? And then
Oh,
my mom
absolutely.
watched that episode. My
Uh,
mom watched that episode, and she told me that guy was falling asleep, wasn't he? I was like, "Yep, I know." That's a good story, isn't it?
that's a fantastic story to tell.
Oh, Calm, you are fantastic. Um, so regarding mentorship, right? First of all, let me express my gratitude for being here. being here on this planet and being here on this show. Okay? On this planet because every day above the ground is a good day. Being on this show because Zion, you've created a beautiful platform and everyone loves you on LinkedIn, mate. And um, you are a huge success, and this platform you've created is a fantastic storytelling and development. Huge success. Thank you for creating it, Zion. So regarding mentorship, I was going to say um, a good mentor. First of all, the word mentor comes from mind, and a good mentor sorts your mind out, helps you sort your mind out. They don't behave like ladders to push you higher and higher on the success ladder. No, they don't do that. They are a good mentor. Is like a clean mirror, just shows you back to yourself. You can see yourself in that mirror, and you can see your future because you're going to be your future version, your future self is going to be like that mentor, and and um, sometimes, especially on LinkedIn, I noticed that people hire um, mentors and pay for mentorship programs, etc., etc. And it makes me feel sorry for a small group of people because they hire someone uh, who basically is just talking about it, talking about success, talking about how to do business. They don't have the business themselves. Okay, so my um, advice to you guys is this is what I want you to do: hire a mentor who's actually doing it, who's got a business doing mentorship or doing whatever business it is they are going to mentor you on. Right? Just hire someone who is really hands-on and is actually um, uh, doing something with that knowledge that they're gonna transfer to you. So, and I'm gonna finish um, on this short story. Okay, so um, I learned it from my granddad, and it helped me a lot. Right. So there was this business person who was really successful at what he did, but he was really grumpy. He was a little bit suspicious of everything. One evening, he was getting ready for his meal with his wife and his dog. They were sat in the lounge, they were in the living room. They had just ordered two burgers. The wife, one for himself, and so they were all sat in the lounge, and all of a sudden, someone rang the doorbell. So he went to open the door and come back, and his burger was gone. So, so his burger was gone, and he was suspicious of the wife and the dog. And then there was a massive argument over that burger, and he was like, "Somebody ate my burger. It's not there." And then he thought initially it was the wife like playing pranks on him, and then the wife said, "No, I've got my own burger. I'm just eating my burger. You went to the door and came back. Nothing changed. What did you do to your burger?" And then they both looked at the dog, and they thought it was the dog, and um, this he never got over this burger missing burger, and then he thought it was the dog for a while, and then he got suspicious of the wife again, and then 6 months later um, over a really small argument, he broke up with the wife. Now it was him and the dog in the house, and the dog started to stink, and everyone thought that it's because of of the fact that his cleanliness was going down the hill, and then um, he because that house started to stink, he had to move from the house to another state. And let's say they were in the United States. They moved to another state. The house still stank, and then he was like, "Okay, the house is stinking. It's the dog. The dog needs to go." Now he gave the dog away, and then got rid of the dog. And now the wife is gone. The dog is gone. He's on his own. And then the house still stinks. He moves to another city, and then with all of his stuff, and then he after a while he realizes his sales statistics, his sales are going down in the company where he worked, and his life was in tatters. And so one day one of the mentors in their company told him, I can mentor you and get you back where you used to be. And he said, no, I don't need a mentor. I'm happy. So 6 months on, and then life's still the same, even worse. The house stinks even more. And he says to the guy, okay, come on. And if you want to mentor me, come and mentor me. So he starts mentoring him on one condition. He says, what's the condition? Let me come to your house. I want to see where you live. So he goes to the house, inspects everything, and says to the guy, first step is I want you to reconcile with your wife. Get your wife back. So apologizes to wife, and they start living together again. Now go ahead and get your dog back. Where's that dog? You love your dog, don't you? He said, yeah, I love it. I love that dog. Gets the dog back. Now your family's like put the family back together. And he said to him, everybody stand in the middle of the living room now. So everybody stands. Yeah, I want you to get this knife and tear up all of the sofa that you sat on. So they tear up the sofa, and guess what they find in there? The goddamn burger. So 6 months on, that's a year on. Okay, they got rid of the dog, broke up with the wife, did everything he could do, and looked at everyone apart from himself. Nobody had stolen the burger. Nobody had ate the burger. The burger had slid down the sofa and stayed in there and started to stink. He moved from town to town, taking that negative thing, that negative. So if a really good mentor sorts your mind out and sorts your attitude towards life out, right? So that's what you need. A good mentor knows your mind and in a way cleans it up for you, right? So the guy didn't need to break up with anyone, didn't need to get rid of the dog. All he needed to do is just realize that it was his own mistake. Okay, so it's okay to point finger, but pointing fingers is not going to solve your problems out. I'm really sorry. That it was a long-winded story, but the point is, a good mentor sorts your attitude out, and once the attitude is sorted out, everything else clicks into place, whether it's business or life. Thank you.
Whoa, thank you so much, Saros. Mr. N, are you there?
Of course, I'm
Mm,
here.
okay, I'll allow you just to respond and then introduce the next speaker.
Yeah, no, it's a powerful story. Look, I think the one thing that I learned very quickly is simply that what we model matters. That's you're saying, Cyrus. Who we are, how we be matters. It's a. I think many of us just assume it's our skill that is what we're trying to share. But as Cyrus just now pointed out rightly, it's more than our skill meant to share. It's a way of being honest with yourself, a way of being honest with the world, a way of being, someone who truly lives, with the right attitude towards others. It all matters. I hear you, Cyrus. Thank you so much for your share. Let's say I want to welcome a few of our friends in the audience. Say, Jay, welcome. Mentorship is rewarding and helpful to entrepreneurs for sure. Also, to of course the mentees as well. Say, Mike B, we see you. Say, Mike LeBlanc is in the studio, so that's cool. Alexis, so super Alexis, super editor Alexis. Glad you're here. There was one that made me laugh. Yes, so as Sharon says, I view it like a master craftsman apprentice relationship. So do I, Sharon. So do I. And yes, Mr. Z does have this habit of making everyone have a proper belly laugh with this funny wit and funny self, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you all for joining us, and thanks for I guess we haven't welcomed you properly, Sean. I'll do it now. So our master identity disruptor. Again, I end up Sean because that's a big part of being a mentor is really who are we deep down. If we're just doing stuff for show, it will show. And take a moment to think if someone, if your mentee was looking at you every day, every like a fly on the wall, because that's what mentorship really is, right? Your mentee can look at you every day, and they can they decide that they choose what to learn from what they see. What would they see? Let me leave that for a second. Mike B says, we'll have values. So mentorship is important so that we can share our valued perspectives and experiences with each other. I agree with you. I agree with you entirely. Mike, the superstar Mike, the wordsmith himself. How you doing, Mike?
Well, Annie, as usual, you blow me away with your brilliance. Um, and I will try to match that with my poetry.
Please go for it.
Before I start the poem, I just want to give a little bit of wisdom, I guess, to I had rarely sought out mentorship. And so I will say that's maybe something that I regret in both my professional career and my personal life is to maybe have reached out to a wiser or older or more experienced person in that. And so I had a saying, and you've probably heard this: when the student is ready, the master appears. And I've been a mentor in some cases where the student wasn't ready, and actually, in a couple cases, would argue with me. Now, this is a professional mentorship that is actually set up by a chapter that I'm part of, and I was just flabbergasted, and I'm hoping that this is not generational. But I was flabbergasted that I'm offering you freely of my time, and you're kind of arguing with me. I'm like, I didn't think that's the way mentorship is supposed to work. But anyway, um, this poem is called Sophia, and it goes something like this. From the midst, a wizened matriarchal figure approaches. Gather round, my children. I have been watching and waiting. In the fullness of time, now it and I have arrived. We stand on sacred ground of hearts joined together, of minds reaching out to share, to ponder, to fuse within and without. Walk softly, dear ones. Have a care as you share. Seek to know as you are known. Honor each one, each soul, breathing deeply of the spirit shown. Gently enfolding the open heart, knowing pain is a terrible taskmaster, but a good one, albeit piercing. Honor the engagement as hard-won lessons seared into the psyche. O alphas, guard your betas, for when you fall, they will reach out to lift up, to uplift, to gather together in your time of need in common bond. In our weakness, we are made strong, casting off hubris, openly vulnerable, opening mind, opening heart. We wait for truth to descend, our hands uplifted. She tells of a vision of colors surrounding a rainbow, bright streams darting and twining, glorious warmth. For in the sharing, caring expands from within. Of mystery she shares, of sights beyond seeing, of love beyond compare. Her face glows, almost painful to behold, yet none can turn away. A soft wind gathers, mist swirls around her feet. A white ball of light surrounds her like the sun, and she is gone. I turn to an elder. Who, pray tell, was she? Oh, my son, an old friend, known by a single name, wisdom. And so I think I'm just going to share that I think there is a big there's a big difference between knowledge and wisdom, and I think in our pursuit of speed and of maybe even profit, we seek to gather knowledge, and maybe we should be seeking to gather wisdom through a mentor. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. It is a fine line. What do you know? What is wisdom? is the ability to, I guess, to know and be, right? But to be, still be humble, still be ourselves, still be, maybe, there's a word I think, calm was alluding to earlier. Humanity, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I could say the ability to build relationships. Yeah, that's what mentors need. But no, I love how you capture the fact that that wisdom, yeah, it's not overbearing. I think we have to choose, Mike, whether we see the wisdom or let it go or ignore it. So that's wisdom in itself, right? Yeah, I love the paint, picture you paint of mentoring, and so you capture many of the essence of good mentors. I think caring is at the heart of being a mentor. Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Please do
I
share your point in the comments if you don't mind.
I
With
will.
me.
I think just a follow on. I think that there's two sides to this. I think as mentors, we have to uh, provide whatever we feel we should, and not necessarily have the expectation that the student will rise to the occasion. Because we're all on different paths, we're all different, we're all on different paths. They may not just be ready to receive it, but I will say, don't stop mentoring because I think you don't know necessarily where that seed will go after you plant it. Sometimes we don't get to see, um, the ramifications of that. And I'll give you an example. This just totally blows me away, and I think I mentioned this to you before, Annie. 35 years ago, I mentored someone. I think it was in Linux or something, which is a OS, and he thanked me 35 years later. It just blew me away. So don't stop, giving. You don't know when that can come to fruition.
Totally agree. I think look, everyone here is a mentor to someone, whether we like it or not, especially in this social media age. How many times, as Mike just said, alluded to so beautifully, right? How many times do you hear people say, "I've been watching you for a long, long time. I just don't comment and I don't speak." I hear that often. I'm sure you have too. Truly, we are inspiring people. People are looking at us, learning from us all. And I'm sure we're doing the same to other people, right? Well, Mike says, he's never had a mentor. I doubt that's true. I'm saying by virtue of the mentoring relationship, which may not be a relationship if it's informal, essentially we are learning from those who are they're better. No, they've been down the road that we're trying to walk down. Most of us who use computers, we learn from people who are younger than us every day. I said, no, we have to embrace this fact. It does bring me back to the fact that we are also the ones being watched by others. Now, as a mentor, the principles are clear. Yes, it's a voluntary relationship. It's a choice relationship. And also, and as Mike just said, we're not here to teach anyone anything as mentors.
And also, let's not forget that if somebody tells you they've been watching you for a long time, a court order might be in order.
No, rather than say the court order, I say, it's not the police looking at me. As Sean says, who are you quietly mentoring right now? So that's a real question, Sean. You see, I think when we look at it that way, it takes you to a whole different level, right? So this is the positivity live room. It's about living with positivity. You see, I guess I would say the duty is on all of us to be masters in our art. Sharon Rose mentioned that the master apprentice relationship, right? So let's seek to get high in our profession, in our niche, in our industry, because we can be at the very top. So and of course, by the time we get to the very top, more people will just see us and learn from us as we and they'll be inspired by our journey. But more of them will also turn up and say, Mike, Emmy, Zion, Coach David, Calm, Mr. Cyrus, please be my mentor. I say, no, that's the way it works, right? Let's not settle for okay. And because that is not what we are trying to inspire others to do. I'm sure all of us here want to inspire people to achieve the potential, achieve the very best, be the best they can be. Can they do that by watching us give 50%? No, of course not. So let's be the ones that truly believe in ourselves, believe in our infinite potential. Not just believe, but actually, go work to it, live to it, and actually achieve it. That's what makes a good mentor. You see, as Cyrus talked about earlier, mentoring is not just about the skill; it's about the life we live. It's about who are we. So I listen carefully to Zion and Calm's dialogue, conversation, discussion about your mentor must be your friend. Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe. You want someone you can get on with. Of course you do. You want someone that you can be friends with. But is it really that bad if you're not friends? I mean, Coach David mentioned right at the beginning when he started talking reverse mentoring. I think he was. Correct me, Coach David. I say there's many versions. There's many ways to look at reverse mentoring. I think one way to look at it is that opposites attract. I don't have to be your friend at all. What if reverse mentoring, Coach David, really means I have to learn that humanity, how to get on with people who are not exactly like me. And what if that is your lesson from working with me? You are to learn that you have to get on with people who are not like you, people who are not in your normal friendship circle. That's one of the lessons of mentoring. We have to be willing to change to be better people. Coach David, I'll come to you if you want to add to it, by all means. Coach, no? Okay, so when you're ready.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
I think what Calm was saying, by the way, thanks everyone. Cyrus, Mike, Calm, Zion, Amy, you guys, and everyone on the chat. I'm learning so much. And I'm taking notes. I think that friendship is a beautiful basis to bypass barriers to understanding. If I believe someone has my best interest at heart, and there's something Mike said that mentorship actually should be from the perspective of the mentee or the protégé in terms of flow of transfer, and that if the student is ready, the teacher appears. They can receive mentorship from nature. You can receive mentorship from anything and anyone at any time if you're ready internally. I think my friend, it's easy for my friend because I like my friend already. It's easy for me to learn from my friend. What you're also saying, Annie, is that at a superior existence, if you want to do better, far better, it doesn't have to be your friend or not. And in fact, in some use cases, friendships can get in the way. because the less is blessed of the better. For you to receive wisdom, you must understand there's a gradient. There is someone who is hungry, and there's someone who has the substance to fill the hunger. If the person who has the substance to fill the person who is hungry should hunger and go for the food. But if the person keeps shouting, "You're not nice, you're not kind, you're not my friend, be my friend, be my friend, be my friend," in and of itself, it can become a barrier to learning. So the human soul can and relationships consequently cannot be legislated. People respond to different things different. Some people learn better with familiar relationships, and familiar relationships are a very strong way to pass wisdom across. But at the same time, familiar relationships on the other side can be familiar. I think the wisdom is not to be too familiar that you cannot learn from a friend or someone close to you, right? Because you not lose many opportunities to learn. You probably have to pay through it. The second point, and that's my last point as I yield the mic, is that whether friend or not, I desire to be mentored always. And even if it's my enemy, there's no enemy for me anyway. Only we don't have common interests for now. So if there is someone who has understanding about what I need, I go after the knowledge. That's what it is.
Well said,
Thank
my
you.
no, well said. Well, no, that's a point I was trying to make where you say it much more beautifully than me.
I've also
Kenny,
got
join
something
us.
I'd like to include.
Go for it.
Um, in the chat, I have posted on the LinkedIn chat a link to a person called Darrell Davis. He is a blues musician. And at some point while he was playing, a KKK member came up to him and told him that his music was wonderful and that he never heard anybody play the piano like he did. Of course, Daryl did not know that this person was a KKK member, but they struck a friendship. They talked, and they talked back and forth about music. They liked what they had to say, and he asked to be invited next time that uh, Daryl Davis played. But before then, he actually alluded to the fact that he was a KKK member because his friend nudged him to do so as they were developing this kind of like friendly repertoire. Because in the middle of that, they went to dinner, or not to dinner, but they had a drink together. And that man indicated that KKK member indicated that I've never had a drink with a black person. I've never actually thought that I'd ever sit down and have a drink with a black person. And Daryl thought to himself, well, I've had a drink with white people all my life. I mean, back and forth, it's just like natural. And that's when he explained to Daryl that he was a KKK member. Daryl did not believe him until he pulled out his KKK card, indicating, convincing Daryl that he was a KKK member. At that point, Daryl decided, well, when Daryl left and they had convened the communication, Daryl decided to, to make sure that he communicated with every KKK member and brought them to his venue to listen to him play, and from then proceeded to communicate with them and talk to them. About over the course of about 30 years, approximately 200 or so members gave up their relationship with the KKK and gave him their cloaks as a badge. And he hangs, and every time they did that, he hanged his cloak, their cloaks, in his room as a point. So you do not have to be friends to be a mentor. This goes far beyond that. You can change, move people just by being yourself and resonating with them. It's
I agree.
important
I
to
agree.
resonate.
I
Yeah,
agree. I
that's
agree
my
on.
story. And the
No,
story is in the is told is in the chat. I put the link in there. I
awesome.
posted it earlier, but you'll see it's there.
Cool, cool. Look, thank you. So, no, look, I agree with you. I think Sharon Rhodes said, that beautifully as you do. Mentors can become friends, and mentors and mentees can become friends, but friends shouldn't attempt mentorship. It's complicated. I agree. I agree. No, I think there's a level of professional boundary I think the mentee must respect, and the mentor as well, right? As Mike says, part of the mentor's job is to give you honest feedback. And sometimes they will tell you things, they have to tell you things that you don't want to hear. They have to call you out on things that just, misalignment, incongruence, denial. A mentor will call you out on those things. A good mentor will anyway. Does a mentee want to hear it? Of course not. But literally, say, we can build a relationship where we understand, where the mentor cares, where the mentor, can be more humane, more human. But I think the mentee maybe has to move as well. Because if either of the parties say stuck, we're stuck. The value of the relationship is lost. So mentoring is such a beautiful thing. But also, no, look, ultimately, I may say the mentor has to be willing to learn from the mentee. You might be the top, you might be the boss of some global company, but there's things you don't know. If you wonder what, you don't know how millennials really think until you have a kid who's a millennial. And so that's just an example. You don't know how IT really works. You don't know how ChatGPT really works unless you talk to someone who uses ChatGPT. They might be younger than you, for all you know. So most IT geniuses are younger than all of us in this room. That's a fact, right? Maybe Mr. Z, I know he's about 21, so he's still young. But for the rest of us, we have to learn from the younger ones, right? It's not about age. It's about someone who knows more than we do. Someone who's been on the journey we're trying to go on. So we have to be capable of caring enough to truly want to reach the top, learn from the gift God gives us. So when Mike says, say the lesson doesn't show up until you need it. The mentor doesn't show up until you're ready to learn. I agree with that. But still, so we must care. We must truly want to elevate, our mentees, but we also must want to grow ourselves. That's how mentoring really works. I could go on about this all day, but let's not do that, right? You've all made amazing points, and I think there's enough for us to work with. So I'll probably leave and say, look, no, maybe we need to stop judging people. We need to stop withholding. Let's withhold our judgments. Let's not cast. As Mike mentioned, if the mentee doesn't do what you want, what do you think they should do? Doesn't follow your recipe, your steps that have got you into where you are. I guess I tend to live with what our friend Zara said the other day. So I'll probably end on this, right? Zara, he talked about a blind man going to buy a teacup from the person who makes the royal teacups. Michael was there, Cyrus was there, right? The blind man comes to this teacup maker and says, right, I need a cup. And then of course, the teacup maker gives him a great, a smooth cup, a lovely cup, brand new cup, right? And blind man strokes it and goes, there's no store in this cup. I don't want it. And the teacup maker is like, what do you mean? See, no, I want a cup with this that has a story. You know, and lo and behold, so the teacup maker he goes into his den and comes out and he finds a cup with cracks, with a hairline fracture on it. So of course he brings it to the blind man, and the blind man feels it. Oh, this one has a story. See, the hairline fracture was filled with gold. See, that's one of the most big, also one of the best lessons I've learned in this year on LinkedIn. Maybe in life as a whole. In other words, let the mentee make mistakes. Let them learn their own way. Rather than thinking they're broken, they're doomed. Maybe they might just find a way that works better for everyone. They might just find a way that's paved with gold. And that's true life, right? Mrs. Z, thank you so much for bringing this great topic. As always, I'll let you
Yeah.
do what you and see how it
Yes.
goes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eni. Thank you so much, Mr. Mike, Cyrus, and Coach David. It's been a powerful conversation, and all our MVP in the comment section, we appreciate you and thank you for joining us on this conversation. I tell you, we can go on and on and on. And I know this topic can be a series. So next week we will be looking at the possible challenges when it comes to mentorship and what's the way forward. So that's the topic we're going to be looking at as a continuation of this because today's topic is inexhaustible. As much as we've discussed about the important why people should have mentors to be mentees and mentors, there are challenges that is involved, and currently people can be going through that challenges right now. So next week we're going to be diving into that, the challenges involved when it comes to mentorship and how we can be able to sort it out. So for those who are joining us for the very first time, this event holds every Friday. So next week Friday is another date, another time where we are bringing the energy, we are bringing the positivity as it pertains every topic. And it's such a privilege to have a global audience join us to share in their thought and their insight. Because one thing that we believe that every one of us we have something to say. Our
Yeah,
stories are unique, our experiences are unique, and as unique as it is, it has the power to change somebody else's life. And what you have to share on stages like this goes a long way. You don't know who you might be impacting, who you might be influencing, or whose life might be changing just because you have to share what you're sharing. So I do not take this for granted. Myself and my team, we appreciate you all so much for helping keeping this conversation going and sharing all your insight. Let's not forget, for us, it's all about spreading positivity to every corners of the earth, one person at a time, and also connecting positive people with positive people because we believe that together we can do so much more to make it humanity better and make the world a better place. And you know what? Next week happens to be our third year anniversary for doing this event. Yes, next week Friday happens to be our third year anniversary. This event has been going on for 3 years every Friday, week in, week out, as we bring more information, we bring more awareness with help to inspire and motivate people, globally. For us, we are so excited. I remember when we started to just few persons, but now we have thousands of people who have been impacted by our event, streamed globally, and a lot of testimony coming in. I want to say big thank you to everyone who has made it possible. We appreciate you all so much. And Jamie is not here. Isa is not here. Lydia is not here as well. They are my co-hosts. They send their regards, and I believe next week Friday they will be here to share the space with us. With that being said, Mr. Any last word before we call the
Yeah, so
curtain today?
I want
quick
to
one.
welcome. So I want to welcome Dr. Leslie for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Our mindsets and go achievement genius. So thank you so much, everyone. Sharon Rose, you're a star. But you know that already, right? Thank you so much for being active in the chat. Mike is always active in the chat as well. Thank you so much, everyone.
Any
Yes, Coach David, you can go for it.
next week, I'm looking forward, and I hope we can finish it because Mike, I wanted to ask a question at the end. You took it right out of my mouth. What happens when your mentor becomes a tormentor? See you guys next Friday.
All right. I think we'll keep that question for next Friday so that we can kick the conversation from that angle. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And
Like,
we're wishing.
write your essays, submit your essays between now and Friday.
And
Bye,
you know,
everyone.
it's going
Bye,
to be
everyone.
graded. It's going to be graded in dollars.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.
Every single flower is a new beat for your farmer. She's success with global.media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with global.media.com.